Hello, and welcome to The Leap. We are really glad you are here and want to thank you for joining us today. This is your podcast to guide you on how you too can make the leap from working for someone else to being in business for yourself full time. Before we dive in, remember you can find the audio podcast version of this episode and others on Apple Music, Spotify, and SoundCloud. Now let's begin. Here's your host and fellow leaper, Tim May.
Hello and welcome to The Leap. This is Tim May. So excited to have you, whether it's in the morning, whether it's in the afternoon or the evening. I got two special guests in the building. Shout out to DJ MV from the Breakfast Club. Two special guests in the building. Dynamic duos, a sister and then sisters.
You can say sister.
You'll get it in a minute. You'll get it in a minute. And just excited about having you, Tiana Patterson and Ashley Green. Welcome to The Leap.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, so go ahead and introduce yourself. Maybe just, something quick, about each of you.
Okay, well, my name is Ashley Green. I am a co-owner of Trinity Youth Family Services, mother of two. I have a 12-year-old and a 4-year-old who is very busy. And yeah, I'm just working as an entrepreneur full-time right now. My lovely business partner, Miss Patterson.
Oh, I love it. Partnership. All right, how about you, Tiana?
So Tiana Patterson, obviously co-owner of Trinity Youth and Family Services. I have a family as well. And I'm also in school. So I went back to school. So that's been presenting some challenges because trying to run a business and have a family and being in school at the same time. But it's definitely been a rewarding experience. So.
Well, all right, I'm just going to go ahead and break the seal. Tiana is my sister. Right? Yeah, Tiana's my sister. How was I as an older brother? Let's be honest. How was I as an older brother?
You had a very kind of independent spirit, you kind of did your own thing. But I think it's harder for the oldest child because you don't really have like a model. So, myself and our younger brother, Travis, kind of had a model to look up to. But for you, it was kind of like being the oldest. You didn't have anybody to look up to. So, I mean, I get it. You kind of, I guess, what do they say, like bounce to the tune of your own drum or something like that. But yeah, I mean, us being 3 years apart, we were close enough, but still like, far enough apart to where it was like, sometimes I wanted to be able to do some of the things hang out with your friends. And they were like, no, you're too young. You can't hang out with, whatever. So, but it was good because I feel like you exposed me to a lot. And it was nice when we were in high school because you used to give me money and stuff like that for lunch. So that was always nice.
Yeah. I wasn't going to let a guy give it to her. Are you kidding me? No, that's my sister.
Yep.
No, that's my sister. All right, well, man, let's talk about it. Let's talk about this leap. So what is your company?
So our company is Trinity Youth and Family Services. We are a Medicaid-funded community mental health agency. So we provide a service called mental health skill building. And what that entails is we work with individuals between the ages of 18 and 65, teaching them mental health skills. So what that might look like is, for those of us who don't have a mental health diagnosis, we may be able to function in daily life and able to take care of our family, able to, work, able to, develop and maintain healthy relationships. But individuals with diagnoses may have some challenges in that area. So what we do is we come in, assess them, see what their needs are, as well as their strengths. So that's very important. And then we develop a plan for how we're going to help them achieve those goals. So if they need help with accessing community resources because maybe they're low income, or if they need help with managing their medications, or if they need help with mending some family relationships, we will come in and kind of teach them those skills so that they can improve their functioning in daily life. So
you
that's
got to have you have to have a heart for people to do that, actually on a daily basis. Like walk me through I don't want to say a typical day because when you own a company, it just anything can happen, right? But just walk me through a day.
A day. Well, as the owner, I'm not as involved with the clients as our counselors are, the counselors that we hire, but I have been a QMHPA before. So it's really all depends on the client. Something that is as easy as obtaining employment. It may be easy for me and you without a mental health diagnosis, but we would have to lead them to resources like Indeed and kind of help them develop a resume, which, like I said, may be easy for me and you, but with them, it may have some challenges. So just seeing what their needs are, helping them meet their goals, it really all depends on the client as to what the day would look like.
Okay, because so you're really problem solving on a daily basis to help people.
Yeah.
Let me, how did this even come about? Like, this partnership, how did the two of you all meet?
You know, when you asked us that question, and I thought about that question before the interview, I was like, how did me and Tiana meet? Like, she just fell from the sky. I don't even remember. I remember we had a mutual friend, Janine, and I remember you had made her dinner, and I came over there, and you were bringing a plate to her. And it's
I don't
like,
even remember that. But.
You don't remember that? Okay, I remember you had baked some fish. Oh. And that was years ago.
Girl to cook.
But honestly, I don't even know how we
were in somebody's,
so
I guess it's just like how with married couples, they'd be like, well, how did y'all meet? And everybody has a different kind of like story. And I guess for me, I remembered a friend of ours, we were both in her wedding. Mm-hmm. And so we kind of, I guess, just started hanging out from there. And I think we started talking about our backgrounds and how we both had mental health backgrounds. And it would be cool if we would start our own business, or whatever. But, I have to say, for Ashley, I think it's just been a blessing because just like any relationship, it's like you have two different personalities.
That's right.
And I know for me, sometimes I can get caught up on like the little minor details of things. And, I'll get things done. I've achieved pretty much every goal I've ever wanted to achieve. But it sometimes takes me a little bit longer only because I get kind of caught up and very meticulous and want things to be perfect and stuff. Ashley's like, no, let's just submit it. Let's just do, whatever. And let's just see what happens. And so she was really good and just kind of helping us, like, especially during the process of like submitting all of our documentation to licensure and stuff like that. Whereas I would have taken a little bit longer because I'd have been like, okay, well, make sure every T was crossed and every I was dotted. Ashley was just like, let's just send it. Let them send back whatever we need to fix and stuff like that. Let's just get it going. And so I will say, I don't think we would have gotten started as quickly as we did, had she not kind of been, pushing like, okay, let's just get it done, sort of thing. So.
And you mentioned marriage. Like, I thought about this last night. Being in partnership with someone is almost like a marriage. Mm-hmm. Like, if you can't see yourself with that person for the next 10 plus years, just do it independently.
That's really good advice.
Because you're going to be with that person. You have to communicate. Communication skills is important. If that person doesn't communicate well, then you're really stuck. Yeah. You have to agree on things, and somebody has to...
Even when you disagree. Yeah, even when you disagree. I interrupted you.
No, you're fine. But like I said, it's pretty much like a marriage, being in partnership with somebody. So make sure you pick a strong partner. Right. Someone to kind of balance you all out.
Definitely.
So talk to the audience about, you graduate from high school, college. I know, Tiana, obviously I know your story, but I want you to share with the audience. But maybe we'll start with Ashley. From high school, what did you do? Did you go to school? Did you start working full time? Walk us through your story.
Okay, how much time do we have?
We got time.
Okay, so I graduated from Meadowbrook High School in 2004 and went to Virginia State for a few years. I actually finished my undergrad at University of Phoenix.
Okay.
So I got my bachelor's at University of Phoenix in criminal justice, and I started working full time after I got my bachelor's. I was a single mother, so I started working for a huge finance company. The benefits were amazing, and they offered tuition reimbursement. So that's what made me go back to school and get my master's in administration of justice and security. And I remember being there, and I was so excited about the benefits. Not only did they offer tuition reimbursement, but they had childcare reimbursement as well. And the pay was good. So they were giving me bonuses. And I remember telling my mom, I'm going to be here forever. They treat me so good. So I guess after a few years, I started to get that itch where it's like the walls feel like they're caving in on you. You just need something new. And I moved on to corrections. I worked in the prison system for about 2 years. And when I did that, the transition wasn't the best because I wasn't getting paid as much as I was with the bank. So I had to pick up a part-time job. So that's when I started counseling part-time. I did that for 2 years. And while I was there, the owner of the company, this is really what sparked me to want to start my own. The owner of the company was in her early 20s, no degree. She had worked in a call center and decided to start a business, a mental health agency. So I was like, you know what? I went to school for all these years.
And if you don't mind, how old were you when you discovered that you met this lady who was in her early 20s? How old were you?
Late 20s. I wasn't 30. I was maybe 28, 29.
But older than her.
Older than her, yes. And she walked into the meeting one time and she was like, she said her name and I'm the CEO. And I'm like, this girl could not be over 21. And I was just surprised. But I felt like, if she can do it, I can do it. And of course, with other mentors, I'm glad that we had some good connections along the way. We had some mentors that kind of helped us and pulled us and wanted us to be great as they are.
which we're going to get into details because that's the mentorship and someone to kind of, help you along the way and show you a path is huge.
It is.
It's absolutely huge. And you made a good point. I mean, that is the point of this podcast. It is literally to showcase people through their stories so that they themselves can make the leap. So Tiana, walk the audience through your story. So you graduated from high school. Did you go to school and kind of up to now?
So I did, yeah. So I went to the College of William and Mary from 04 to 08. I always thought my entire life that I wanted to be a doctor. So I was pre-med. William and Mary didn't have pre-med. It's like a set major. So I had to major in something else while taking pre-med courses. So I was like, well, I'm interested in like the brain, how the brain works and stuff like that. So I majored in psychology. Well, when I graduated, in the midst of me kind of like getting my application and stuff together for medical school, I was working as a pharmacy technician, which I really, really enjoyed doing. And just one day I was just there counting pills and I just heard the Lord just say like, just pretty much leave medical school alone. Like I'm sending you in a different direction. Mm-hmm. And, I heard social work. So I ended up, at that point, I had already submitted my medical school application, but I withdrew it. And then I submitted my application for the School of Social Work at VCU. And I worked like 11 jobs in between then, to be honest. I married a Jamaican, and it makes total sense now because I have worked pretty much in every industry. Like I said, pharmacy, I worked in corrections, I worked in the nonprofit sector, private sector. I mean, I've done a whole lot of stuff. And so I went to school part-time because, had a family and, had bills to take care of. I always tell people you just got to do what you have to do until you can do what you want to do.
That's right.
But I just kept switching from job to job and I just never felt like I was really fulfilled. And again, it was just like one of those kind of moments where I just heard the Lord say, like, you're never going to be fulfilled until you're working for yourself. And that was before I had met Ashley. And so, once we kind of got into the conversation about starting our own business, it was like, okay, like this is it, and we kind of went from there.
So, all right. So tell me that first conversation, like how did that discovery come?
It was very brief. I can remember the details.
My memory is not the best. So
it's very brief. I don't even think it was a phone call. It may have been a text like, Ashley, what's up? You want to go in business together? Because I had mentioned that I wanted to start a mental health agency, and I guess she had that thought in her mind too. So she just sent me I want to say it was a text. It was like, hey, Ashley, you want to go into business together? I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
Gosh, I love this.
It was short and sweet.
Oh my gosh, I
because
love this.
the thing is like I always tell people, I've talked to a lot of people since starting going into business for myself, and the one thing I hear from people is that, they're scared or it's such a huge risk. But I have been laid off from 2 jobs before, okay, and did not know how I was going to pay my bills. Yep. Yeah, it was like, that's it, with no warning. And I've also worked for other companies where it was a little shaky. And so I just feel like.
And shaky is defined in you didn't know if your paycheck was going to clear, shaky types. Yep.
Things like that, and so I know one of the questions that we're probably going to talk about is whether I ever felt like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Should I go back or whatever? But I've never felt like that because I've been in positions where, things were inconsistent and unstable and I know what that feels like. But, I just believe that because this is where God wanted me to be, I just know that he's going to take care, of me and, and all those things and all those areas. So I really love it. It was the best decision that.
So a text message, hey, do you want to start this agency? Yeah, sure. Let's do it. So what's the next conversation
after that? The process wasn't that simple. It wasn't that easy. Okay. So I believe we gathered everything that we needed and submitted the request to the state in February 2017. Yep. Mm-hmm. Took about a year and a half.
Okay.
We were number 300 and something on
in the queue.
The list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. To even be reviewed. Mm-hmm. And then you have to add additional months to get credentialed by the insurance company.
Which
so we didn't start seeing clients until November. I think we got our first client November 2018.
That's correct.
Yes. Wow. November 2018. So even though the conversation was short, the journey was not. It took patience.
And let me ask you, so who was there someone in you all's life that you knew prior that kind of walked you through the process? Like, how did you even know where to start?
There were several people that I knew, and, you know, we all connected together.
Right.
Several people from my previous church.
Okay.
They helped me out. A lot of them, well, all of them actually had their own agency.
Okay.
So it was really a sweatless victory, honestly.
Wow,
Once you have a good,
love
solid
it.
number of solid people on your team and want to see you successful, that's really all you need.
And then it's like they knew that they were like pouring into, you know, into good ground. You know, they knew that we were going to take what they were giving us and we were actually going to
Not just talking about it.
Exactly. You know, so.
So, first day of doing business, what is that like?
Well, and here's the other thing too. So, you know, owning your own business is a lot of work. But we resolved that we were going to put in the work from the beginning. You know, we wanted to keep our overhead low. You know, I think it's something about just kind of working in the trenches and just being in the field. You know, there's some people, sometimes they start similar agencies to ours and they don't have any experience doing the work. So at any given moment, you know, your staff leave, you have issues or whatever, and then, you know, you have to try to hurry and find staff. But Ashley and I, we've maintained our credentials the entire time. With the Board of Counseling. So at any given moment, well, like right now, we're in the field right now, you know, because we have to be. But, you know, so I think it's something to, you know, just kind of being in the trenches, like I said, you know, make sure that you know how to do the work so that you can kind of, you know, be hands-on and, you know, and kind of do it for yourself. And so we did that for about a year. We worked all of our cases for a year.
And how many hours a week roughly were you working?
It depends on the client. Some of our clients are approved for 10 hours a week. Some can be approved for 15 hours. And it could be less than that.
Okay.
It really all depends on the client and what their approval is.
So your workload, what was your workload as far as how many hours a week you were working when you first started off?
Well, we were seeing a client, so that was, let's say, maybe 30 hours a week.
Yep.
We
and
also
working
had
other jobs.
Yes. We were working other jobs too.
Yep.
And we had to do the behind the scenes things as well. So she was doing
All the
billing
administrative
and
parts.
We were doing everything.
Yep.
So I would say it's easily 60 hours maybe.
And you know, I asked
Sunday through Saturday.
Yeah. And see, I asked that question because it's almost universal amongst all business owners. You know, when someone says, well, how many hours do I need to work to be successful in this? When I hear that question, I hear the person saying, what's the least amount of work I got to put in to be successful? And that mentality is not going to help you be successful.
As an entrepreneur, it's just whatever it takes.
It's whatever it takes. And it's being flexible and it's pivoting and it's...
When I'm on vacation, I take my laptop with
being
me.
accessible.
Make sure that I have Wi-Fi. I'm like, wherever we stay at, I need to make sure I have good Wi-Fi or I can't stay there because I have to still be able to work.
That's right. I'll tell you one thing, and I got to tell you this, Tiana, I've never told you this. Knowing about your business somewhat and very proud of you, you know, our parents, I think they should be proud. They're 2 for 3 on full-time business owners, right? I think Travis is on his way. But that wasn't what impressed me. What impressed me was I'd pulled up to my house and I was going to walk in. I just sat in my car and you either called me or I called you. And what impressed me was when you were telling me how you were meticulously handling the paperwork and making sure licenses were renewed and just making sure all the boxes were checked. Speak to the importance of doing things right the first time and having a habit of doing that.
Well, I would say that it's vital because, I mean, even before starting my own business, even when I've worked for other people and I've been in supervisory roles, I would always tell people, do the work on the front end so you don't have to work as hard on the back end. And so, I do spend a lot of time making sure that things are done correctly because you get it's a better benefit. It's more beneficial because, let's say you have licensing come for a visit and, you've not done the paperwork that need to be done. You don't have everything in order. So you could be cited, up to your business being closed down temporarily until you get those things corrected. Or even just small things like getting a client approved for services. You check the wrong box, that can have consequences or can hold the client up in the process. And, you have to think about the client is the most important piece of this because it's all about their care, all about their mental health care.
Right.
We want to get them in services as quickly as possible so that we can start helping them. And the longer it takes us to, do our part administratively, the longer it takes for them to get into services and get the help they need. And we don't want that to be a barrier to them addressing their mental health needs. So I just say that it's very important because it can become overwhelming. That's the other thing too. So I know for me, I don't like to get behind on things because it's like, once you get so far behind, it's kind of hard to dig yourself out of, a hole with the paperwork. Because, with what we do, it's like if it's not on paper, it didn't happen. Okay. So everything we do has to be documented accurately and thoroughly. So
And something I just want to piggyback on that. Something that I can appreciate about my business partner, she has an eye for detail. I do not. Okay. So like she said, I will submit something and say, okay, we'll figure it out along the way. But if I push something to her and something I missed, she's going to figure out what's wrong and what we need to correct and what we need to do. And I can appreciate that. She can catch anything. I can go over it 3 or 4 times like it's ready to go. I send it to her. She finds something.
It's a partnership, right?
Yeah.
The strengths that one has, compliments, I love it. Let me ask you this. What is something that you're able to do as a boss, as a full-time business owner, that you were not able to do working for somebody else?
I would say spending time with my children. I have a 12-year-old who plays basketball. She's a phenomenal star. You'll read about her one day. So I'm able to attend basketball games, training, ceremonies, things of that nature, even vacation. With working a 9 to 5, you get, 2 weeks for the whole year. And even with that, seniority gets to determine what week they get to take. So you can forget the holidays and things like that. So I would say the time freedom that I have right now to spend time with my children.
I love it. How about you, Tiana?
Yeah, I agree. It's just that flexibility that's so important. I know previously I had to get permission from my employer to be able to come in late, to work from home in the morning so I could take my son to school and then come into work, then leave early, pick him up from school, and then work from home more. So I ended up doing more work, because of the lack of flexibility. It was a lot. Yeah, it was a lot. So definitely just being able to have that additional time, or just being able to schedule, make your own schedule,
yes.
In a way that works, for you and how you best work has been great. Like Ashley said, definitely with vacation time and just time off and just being available to spend time, with family, or just even for just, self-care and doing the things that you need to do for yourself that you a lot of times can't do when you're working for other people.
Yeah, it's huge. Where do you see your business in the next 2 years?
The next 2 years, definitely we'll be offering more services than what we are now. Right now we're offering just a mental health skill building, and we're getting ready to add on crisis. So definitely want to add on a few more services within the next 2 years. Okay. Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, we just hope just to be, thriving and just kind of be an example to other. Because, there are a lot of other agencies that do what we do, but we just endeavor to do things, with excellence, with integrity, so that, God can get glory from it, so that the people that we're working with will actually, benefit from what we do. We just think that that's so important. So, just hope to be at some point the premier mental health agency in, Richmond and surrounding, area. So, and it's definitely doable. Like Ashley said, we're looking to expand, add on some more programs. I know I saw another business owner was saying that you should have something like 7 businesses or something like that. It don't necessarily have to be 7 separate businesses, but even within your own, the business that you have. So, not that 7 is necessarily the number that we're looking to have under mental health, but definitely want to expand and add additional businesses.
And you also have to think about it. When we were talking about how we submitted our request to the state to get licensed, we were number 300 in the queue. So there's 300 people or 300 agencies like us, probably more, in this area. So we definitely want to do something to set us apart from the rest. And that is operating excellence, like she said.
That's right. You all didn't talk a ton about getting rich. You all didn't say at all about getting rich or any of that stuff, about the money. And yet, when you own a business, you have an opportunity to make some money. Mm-hmm. What's something that making money as your own boss, maybe give me an example of something that has allowed you to purchase or do, or maybe you gave money, just anything. Maybe it's, like me, like this shirt, like, I love to have a certain type of style, right? And my wife makes sure I have a certain type of style. And my buddy Nicholas Briley, he's the owner of Kingdom Style. He markets for Jay Hilbert. He hooked me up with this beautiful shirt. So just, being in business for yourself, you're able to do kind of some different things. I like to have sneakers and, different types of clothes and nice shirts and things like that. What's something for you all that money would allow you all, has allowed you to do? Maybe a specific example.
I would say for me, vacation. Last year, I can't tell you how many vacations I went on.
Give me an example of maybe one or two places that you did go to.
I went to the Bahamas with my business partner.
We took our mothers. I think that was Ashley's idea. And that was just a beautiful trip. Mm-hmm. We decided we would, I think on one of the trips we were on, we was like, okay, well, the next one, let's take our mothers on a cruise. I want to say your mother had never flown before.
Never flown before either.
My mother had never been on a cruise before. And when I say they had a ball, it allowed us to be able to, financially, pay for that trip and just really just enjoy ourselves, let them just kind of enjoy and do what they wanted to do. Mm-hmm. I would say another thing, for both of us, because we always share with each other once we pay something off, is just, the path to debt freedom. It's so important. Yeah. And, I just think about the jobs I've worked. It would have taken me so much longer. I would have had to be on a rice and beans diet in order to pay off some of the things that I've been able to pay off. Just like recently, I paid off a vehicle. I actually paid off a vehicle.
Wow.
So it's just allowed us that financial freedom and just giving us the increase to be able to do those things. And it's just so important because then it's leaving a legacy for our children.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what is the most important thing for us, regardless of if they decide to take on mental health or not. Mm-hmm. Right. But at least financially, we know that they'll be straight and it'll give them a down payment into whatever they want to do.
Wow.
And it's also just opened my mind up to other things like investments. Mm-hmm. I really couldn't think about investments when I was working a 9-to-5 because my money was tied up into when it came in, it was going out. So now I have, a few coins left over. I can think about investments and things that make my money grow and interest, things like that.
You hit a big chord with me. When you work for somebody else, you get the income at that paycheck, and then you have to work more. And then if you can't pass it on. There's zero equity that's built when you work for somebody else. And the fact that you have something, and if you decide you can pass it on, it makes the work. I could talk forever. Is there anything else you want to share?
I would say for those in the audience who wants to take the leap, just something that I regret when we were taking the leap, we weren't completely business owners yet, is just being mindful of the people that you share your journey with. Because not everyone
Take your time on this.
I thought about this on the way here. It's like, man, not everyone, even your friends and family, they're not going to have the same mindset as you. Some people are stuck on the 9-to-5
And
mindset.
we talked about it because I was tight-lipped. I was like, I ain't telling nobody.
Anyone. Because you can be so passionate about something, you can have the vision, it can be clear, and you have negative energy coming from a friend, and it's like you're starting to doubt yourself. Mm-hmm. So just be mindful. If you have to hold on to it and it's between you and God, and you can't tell anybody, just do that until it manifests. Just be mindful of who you share your vision with.
That's good.
I agree.
Well, wow. We could keep going. We should leave it at that. Ashley Green, Tiana Patterson, Trinity Youth and Family Services, mental health industry.
Oh, can I just say that we are hiring?
Yes.
So for the audience, so if anybody, just to put out there, if you're a qualified mental health professional licensed with the Board of Counseling, you have some experience working with adults with serious mental illness, you can find our information on Indeed or on our website, trinityfamilyservices.com.
All right. You heard it first. This is Tim May with The Leap. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe so you are notified when a new episode is posted. Rate and review this podcast and share it with your friends who you know would also love to take the leap. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope you are leaving with some great things that can help you on your pathway to full-time business ownership. Now go out there and put one foot in front of the other. Until next time.